Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Dark Mirror Radio. Better late than never, right?
We do apologise for being just a tad bit late, but we are using a new streaming service, and unfortunately, we're having issues logging in and getting everything started. So please do bear with us. Slight technical difficulties. Anyway, right. I don't know where we've got it shared out to, so we will just have to go with the flow.
Checking.
Oh, excuse me, while I clear my lungs. Right. Okay, we're good. Make yourself comfortable because I'm sort of. Anyway, how is everybody? I blame it on the aliens.
I mean, oh, we are live.
Okay, it's come up as a Facebook user, so we don't know who Facebook user is.
I don't even. Hello, Facebook user. The spooky guy. Hello, Facebook user. For some reason, I can't see you on my screen, but I can see you on my laptop screen. So, okay.
Oh, there we go. It was Eric and Rita.
Hey, Rita.
It's coming up on my iPad, but not on my phone. So, yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. So we'll blame it on the aliens.
Right.
So, so this week we decided we were going to pick on sort of recent news, and we have some strange things going on regards to our wonderful moon. As of last night, we were supposed to be receiving a second moon up until November the 25th. NASA scientists had calculated that the Earth should have captured a second moon yesterday evening. It's a mini moon, and it's actually a tiny asteroid called Asteroid 2024 PT5, which usually orbits the Sun as part of a small asteroid belt that follows Earth. But while Earth's primary companion, the Moon, has lingered around our planet for almost 4 billion years since its formation in the solar system's infancy, this asteroid will be a temporary fixture that won't even see the year out. And according to the latest data available from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory Horizon system, the temporary capture will start around 3:54 Eastern Daily Time, I think that is, and will end 11:43 Eastern Daily Time on the 25th of November. Mini Moon event will expert and Universidad Complutense de Madrid professor Carlos de la Fuente Marcos told Space.com on Wednesday. The object that is going to pass a visit belongs to the Arjuna asteroid belt, a secondary asteroid belt made of space rocks that follow orbits very similar to that of Earth at an average distance to the Sun of about 93 million miles. Marcos told Space.com last week that objects in the Arjuna asteroid belt are part of the near-Earth object population of asteroids and comets. Though the idea of Earth getting a second moon sounds extraordinary, these gravitational capture events are actually quite common. Yes, Mark, everything's good, mate.
Yeah, we're all good, Mark.
Some Arjuna asteroid belt objects can approach Earth at a close range of around 2.8 million miles and at the relatively low velocity of less than 2,200 miles per hour. Asteroid 2024 PT5 will not describe a full orbit around the world, around the Earth, but you may say that if a true satellite is like a customer buying goods inside a store, objects like 2024 PT5 are window shoppers. So it's literally going to glance by. It will continue orbit there after its brief stay around the Earth. It will continue to orbit the Sun as part of the Arjuna family of asteroids. So it's just this particular asteroid has got rather close to sort of absorb into our atmosphere for just a second in our gravitational pull, and then shoot off again. Mark is currently preoccupied with his anniversary evening. That's his 3rd anniversary. So congratulations to Mark and Rachel. Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a strange one really, because in our lifetimes we've never known there to be a second moon, and apparently we will be able to see it, even though it's relatively small and it's going to be further away than our moon is. They reckon it's only supposed to be about 37 feet wide. So
Wow.
it works out that the moon is 308,108 times wider than the asteroid.
I was literally going to bring that up, but I wonder if anybody on TikTok is saying that this is Nibiru returning, but probably not
Yeah.
if it's that small.
I mean, the problem was all these rumors like TikTok and all these other social media platforms were all saying we're going to get a second moon. But the problem is something that's only 37 feet wide, you're not really going to see it that much unless you've got a professional telescope. Simple reason being is it's going to be too far away. I think that might
get hyped up though.
So people are sort of like going, "Oh my word!" Well, no, the moon is 2,159 miles in diameter, so that's why you can see it, because it's huge. Whereas this asteroid's only 37 feet wide. They say that it's going to be too small and dim for typical amateur telescopes and binoculars. However, the object is well within the brightness range of typical telescopes used by professional astronomers. A telescope with a diameter of at least 30 inches plus a CCD or a CMOS detector is needed to observe this object. A 30-inch telescope and a human eye behind it will not be enough. So, really, a lot of the hype about the asteroid and saying it's going to be a second moon, you might as well not bother telling anybody, because no one's going to be able to see it. But it's quite fascinating that we've now got the technology where we can detect these objects and let people know that it's going to be there. And the question that will also then be asked is, if a bigger object, I mean, that's just 37 feet wide, if it was 37 miles wide, then there would be a cause for concern and people would be panicking, because you probably would be able to see that with the naked eye then. But this, it's nothing. And we get asteroids come into our atmosphere all the time. But this one seems to be using Earth as a slingshot. And then so it's going to keep going round the Earth until the 25th of November. And then it's going to slingshot away and head towards the sun. A bit like Oumuamua. Came into our solar system, whisked around the sun, and then as it came back out from the other side of the sun, it sped up and went off out the solar system again. So we know it happens on a regular basis, but it has caused quite a lot of stir within the scientific community.
I feel like Oumuamua was different though. That was a completely missed opportunity on our part.
I think so, but I think with Oumuamua, I don't think our technology was quite ready compared to what it is now. Because you go back and look at Oumuamua. That was what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I think we tried to. I think we tried to we had to perfect the technology that we used to monitor Oumuamua. And now it's perfected. It's too late. We've missed that chance. It's a bit of a shame. My iPad's freezing. Oumuamua asteroid on, when was that? Oh, it was 7 years ago.
Oh wow!
Um,
Feels like too. Yeah, technology's set
Fair
up a little
few.
bit. At least I hope.
Yeah. It was formerly designated 7i 2017 U1. And it was used. It was detected using the Pan-STARRS telescope at Haleakala Observatory in Hawaii. And then approximately 40 days after it passed its closest point to the sun on the 9th of September, it did a runner. It was 200 meters long, but it was discovered, and after it passed the sun, it then sped up. Which
You're not too late. We just don't know who you are. This is Facebook.
hang on.
So, hello.
Oh, it was
I don't know
Tracy.
why it's doing that this week.
Yeah, we've got some issues with I think different different devices have got a different reaction, and some of them are showing up the names and some of them aren't. My iPad's giving everybody's names, and my mobile phone isn't. So we'll say hi Eric, hi Rita, hi Annette, hello Tracy, and Nicola Smith, who's now watching. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's a question we ask ourselves. You know, regards to Oumuamua, there are theories that it was just an asteroid, but physics is conflicting with what Oumuamua is, because it wouldn't have sped up after it had gone round the sun. It would have used the sun and the sun's gravity to help speed itself up, so it would be at its optimal speed when it came round the other side. But it was still travelling at a slowish speed, and then as it came round from the other side of the sun, it then sped up. Forgot about me. Who did I forget about?
Yeah. We're sorry, Facebook user.
The comment hasn't come up on my iPad yet, so I do apologise if I forgot you. Oh, is Noreen? Is that
I
Noreen?
know.
Yes, Eric. We were going to get to that. We were going to get to that one as well, because this is where the James Webb Telescope has come in. Oh yes, Pickle Tom. Hi Tom. Hope you're all right.
That's who the pickle emojis are for. I was wondering about that. I was like, oh, what a wonderful time for us to get
It's Pickle Tom. It's a pickle. Do you want to do the James Webb Telescope and the Armada?
Yeah, I think Eric's seen it. Maybe some of you also seen it who are out there playing around on TikTok. Apparently, there has been an armada of ships picked up by the James Webb Telescope. Supposed to arrive at like the end of the week. We shall see.
I wonder if it's coming to tell us off. I wonder if it is an armada of ships coming to Earth to say, look, you guys really need to sort your shit out. Because if you're thinking of coming into space while you're still doing all this, you're grossly mistaken.
Has anybody showed up with an army just to be like, hey, we have an army? Just,
Could it be new recruits for Space Force?
I honestly thought that. I mean, what if it is actually they picked up some of our stuff?
Well, if the chatter and all the whistleblowers are correct in what they've been saying over the years, that we have been in communication with beings from other worlds, could this be what they are all talking about? This, this communication with other beings and the unification as a galaxy federation as such. You know, could this be the start of it? Or could it just be again something that's been put out there by various groups just to confuse what's going on.
You mean espionage? Just a simple
Yeah,
case of that. I mean, yeah, it's very possible too. Um,
I mean, we've known.
we keep hearing the date 2027, but I mean, I feel like the date just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Um, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the problem is if they're saying this Armada is going to be arriving within the next few days, they're early. So maybe they got their times mixed up.
Well, I don't know. I saw that video like 2 weeks ago, and they said they're supposed to arrive within 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah, so they're due to arrive at any time. But
I mean, if this isn't a TikTok trend.
exactly. I mean, I've found a website. Did the James what's it called? Sports something. It's called Sports Keyda. And it said, did the James Webb Telescope see an armada of alien ships? And it was an Alexa video went viral and sparks hysteria online. A viral video where Amazon's Alexa claimed that aliens were making their way towards Earth has gone viral online. The virtual assistant stated in the TikTok video that the same was detected by the James Webb Telescope. Netizens have since taken to the internet to react to the clip. And the clip was seemingly posted by a user on TikTok and went on to be uploaded by Marcellus Cruz on Facebook. The video started off with a person asking Alexa, what did James Webb Telescope detect is coming to Earth? And the bot claimed that an armada of alien ships was making its way to the planet at the speed of light. Alexa was attributed the discovery to GitHub.io. It is worth noting that scientists haven't confirmed the same at the time of writing the article, let alone the James Webb Telescope finding that aliens were making their way to Earth. Meanwhile, Amazon has not responded to the viral Alexa video either. So that is pretty much saying it's a load of hoo-ha. The video amassed millions of views online. Netizens, meanwhile, took to the internet to respond to the bot's claims. Many ridiculed the same and expressed their disbelief online. Some reactions to the reposted clip on Facebook had read, wish it was so true. Others had said BS, near light speed. How old this?
Just like that trend a couple weeks ago, where all the mystics on TikTok were seeing alien ships. What was it, September 18th, and nothing happened?
Well, it's the same as all these people that claim to
Facebook
claim to be time travelers. And they say, "Oh, in such and such a date, this will happen," and it never does.
I stopped giving them guys attention years ago. The time travelers.
I always, scroll past.
On a different note, we had a pretty profound medium, Bashar, if you're all familiar with, actually take a political stance here in the U.S. I'm kind of disappointed. It's just I don't think like the spiritual community and the politics need to be anywhere near the same page.
Yeah,
if you're familiar with Bashar, who that is,
I've heard of him, but not really sort of delved much into the person.
He's been around for a while. He's a medium that he always comes in contact with this extraterrestrial being, and he does like seminars and talks to people. And been writing about stuff here and there, but for the first time ever, he's taken like a political stand as Bashar, not himself. And I don't know. I kind of disappointed in it.
Yes, I remember seeing it now. TikTok. He was standing there saying something about that Trump was going to be the worst thing to happen.
Yeah, it clearly seems like he was bought. I'm not gonna take a political side, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't think spiritualists need to be involved in politics. It's makes me not believe as much.
Yeah, I think in a way, yeah, it could be that he ends up discrediting himself. You know, there would have been a lot of people that would have believed what he said to start off with, but now he's gone down this road. People are going to stand there and say, "Why have you just done this to yourself? Why have you all of a sudden claimed to be in communication with aliens and that this galactic federation is going to be, started including the human race, and then all of a sudden come out with something like this with a political stance that could technically wreck everything that he's built up till now?"
I would say Gaia's involved with that party. That's kind of like the gist I got out of it,
Yeah.
which is disappointing. Um, which is, whistleblowers, we cannot allow certain companies to like take charge of,
No,
it's a whistleblower. We can't. We can't. They're
whistle,
always going to spin their own narrative.
whistleblowers
Otherwise.
need to remain independent.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to stay independent. They can't be swayed by a company or a higher power apart from the one they believe in.
Especially a politician.
Yeah. It just isn't going to work, really. And I think he's probably dug his own grave by doing what he's done.
Yeah.
But we have something else from the James Webb Telescope as well. And that was James Webb Telescope again had detected light from a small Earth-like planet, which
a little while
ago. It's a bit strange because this was back in March last year that it detected it, but it's now all of a sudden becoming quite a talking point. Simply because this planet is in what they call the Goldilocks zone. And 5 years ago, NASA's Infrared Spitzer Space Telescope helped discover a family of 7 rocky exoplanets orbiting the same star known as TRAPPIST-1. Now NASA's new infrared powerhouse, the James Webb Space Telescope, measured the temperature of one of those worlds, TRAPPIST-1b, and in new research published in a journal, Nature. The bad news is that the Earth-like planet is almost certainly uninhabitable, but astronomers using JWST's mid-infrared camera called MIRI to look at the planet's thermal emission think that heat-sensing terminator vision. They found the TRAPPIST-1b is scorching at about 450 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the temperature of an oven, and that it likely lacks any atmosphere because of its heat. The discovery is another record-breaking first for JWST, which has been steadily producing newsworthy results since its launch. But this is the first detection of any form of light emitted by an exoplanet as small and as cool as the rocky planets in our own solar system. So where's the light coming from? So it did spur great excitement in the astronomical community, since all of the distant worlds are about the size of Earth and are located in their star's habitable zone, the region that's just the right distance from a star for liquid water to exist on a planet's surface. This system is a great laboratory and the best targets we have for looking at the atmospheres of rocky planets. So they are saying that the theories are that the lights that the people are seeing are the light being reflected off the atmospheres, because apparently it's shimmering light, which would suggest there was an atmosphere there. But then they're also saying one of the popular ones is city lights. So it's the effect that a city, the lights from a city flicker when you look at it from a distance. And I don't know, it's a bit weird when you think about it. But again, our technology is getting that more advanced now. Why isn't it a possibility that we're seeing these things?
Right.
I think a lot of people are too quick to deny the possibility that there's something out there. You know, the groups of people that would turn around and say, "Well, there's no such thing as ghosts," but they believe heavily in the Bible. It sort of contradicts what they're saying. With space,
Well, there's Darwinism everywhere you look.
but with space, it's a new science, and it's something we're learning something new about what's out there all the time. And we've always, a lot of people have always held the popular belief that we can't be the only thing in the known universe. We can't be. It stands to reason it that we can't be. So with our technology getting as good as it's getting, it will get to a stage where we will be able to see those beings or detect that technology on another planet. So could we be coming to that cusp of technology where we are going to start seeing it?
Look at that discovery last month about oxygen, that what we know about oxygen is completely wrong, that there's a whole another type.
Yeah. We are learning what's new here. Is it loading? Yeah. This is the thing. Our technology is increasing at such a rate, and it's going so fast that as soon as a piece of technology is released on general sale, evening, Robert. Soon as something's brought out as new technology, there is another company out there already in the planning phase, ready to be released, that's better than what's just come out. So,
we know that too, of how technology is suppressed to us too, about how it really advanced.
I think so. The good technology has been held back for the people that want it, or the people that can use it for their own benefit.
Right.
And then the general technology it's been, it won't get released till years down the line when they've got something better and they don't need that anymore. And then they go, well, now we've got this is better than that, so we'll let them have that one because we've got this one now.
We were talking about that too with planes, how there really hasn't been an advancement in years upon years.
Eric cut the tail off on his face. I cut off the tail of my face today. That's new. You did what? Eric, what did you do? Oh dear. That's not good, Eric. So I don't know. It's just strange that the stories that are out there that we're getting, there is a story out there in regards to it, but it's been morphed, it's been changed, it's been altered, and unfortunately, it's been changed and altered and put in the technically the wrong place, but for others the right place, because then that word gets spread out and the hype then gets put out there as well. So to turn around and say there's an armada of spaceships coming out, the James Webb's detected it, but could it just have been that the James Webb Space Telescope has detected a series of asteroids?
Nah, I think it's AI. So we threw together an AI video and was
Well,
like, "Oh, I want some views," and then somebody paranoid saw that and was like, "The world needs to know."
but
And
apparently
there you
Alexa
go.
can be manipulated.
Oh yeah,
So,
I mean, how hard would it be to just get audio clip of Alexa and putting together other phrases online? You know?
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, the thing is as well is that editing software is so easy to come by now.
Mhm.
That even if you ask to turn around and said, Alexa, repeat after me, and then you say this line and then record Alexa repeating that line. And then with editing software, you can then create the video where you've asked Alexa, what has James Webb Telescope seen? And then edit in the answer.
That's the
It's
thing.
easy enough to do.
There's
But that's
plenty of
how you.
terrifying things really out here. We don't need to make shit up.
Um, so it it's
Hello,
somewhere
Bob.
along the line somebody has created this, and as a result, it's gone viral. But what it's done is within certain groups of people has caused a bit of a panic because they really do think an armada of ships is heading towards Earth. But the thing is, again, we've got the technology to detect when things are coming close to Earth anyway. And I think if we were to have an armada of spaceships coming towards Earth, I think it would have made, worldwide news, not just on social
Yeah.
media. You know, but on the other side of the coin, it would then explain why a month ago, members of the armed forces and members of the police force were handed guidebooks on how to handle visitation from other beings. So could that be a part of it? Again, was it part of the social media hoax as such? Or is this actually happening? There still hasn't been anybody posting pictures of this guidebook. So it would be interesting. I can't wait to see a picture of this guidebook that's gone out there.
Do you think it's true?
Well, like I said, you would have thought by now that somebody would have posted a picture of this so-called guidebook. And
Right.
I
I
haven't
agree with
I haven't
you.
seen it. I think with Amanda's comment, I think they would have no choice but to tell us if there was a serious amount of objects heading towards Earth that they knew were other beings or extraterrestrials. I think they would have no choice because you wouldn't be able to hide it. Because
Yeah, I
it would be
agree.
obvious. It would be blatantly obvious. And depending on the size of these objects as well, if it turns out that they're bigger than the moon, then you know people are going to see them regardless, and no amount of covering up are they going to be able to hide it. It is going to get to that stage, like Josh said earlier, that it's supposed to be 2027, and they're supposed to be here. But I personally think that's a hoax.
Yeah, me too.
I couldn't take it seriously enough. I don't think it just seems a bit strange. So Amanda has just said our military's been given this guidebook, and Amanda's in Japan, so even the Japanese have been given out the guidebook. So that's two countries we know of that have been given the stuff. So it's if aliens came here, who said they're going to be hostile? Unfortunately, Hollywood says they're going to be hostile. I think. Bob says they would not tell us, though. Shows like Skinwalker Ranch is the government's way of getting us ready. You have to remember George Orwell's Screw Up radio show that convinced the public UFOs had landed. But that was the War of the Worlds. That was the radio play, and that was taken from H.G. Wells's book War of the Worlds. So it
He
was.
did his company with some creepy dudes, though. He is also the father of Scientology.
I mean, the thing is, as well, is that when you look at the likes of War of the Worlds, if you read that book, there are some pretty weird stuff in there that, when you look at it, actually does sort of, in a way, ring true. We know Mars is a dead planet, but you've got to remember when that book was written, they didn't have the technology that we've got today to know that Mars was dead. And to come out with the fact that Mars was a dying planet, so the inhabitants of Mars decided they were going to come to Earth. So unlike the Spielberg version of War of the Worlds, where did they land? Well, they didn't land in the USA because they'd already planted the tripods in the ground.
Whoa.
And they actually launched the pilots of those tripods into the ground. So the tripods were already there. But and what annoyed me about that version of the film was the fact that nobody actually sort of looked into the history of how they got there in the first place. Because they come out of the
wasn't
ground.
so many of us wiped out at that point in time, anyways, in the movie?
I mean, the only way I can work out is how they managed to do it was the fact that they could have linked it with the original War of the Worlds. Because the original War of the Worlds was set at the end of the 19th century. So maybe
Very creepy that they had a Scientologist play the main character in that movie too. If you think about it, it's like their poster boy. He is their poster boy.
Yeah, definitely. It is a bit. Yes.
It always gets creepy when you think G. Wells and Lovecraft both were like followed Crowley around like a puppy and his wife, and constantly were at his manor and doing them seances. He was with them, And
yeah,
I talked about it before. Crowley fucking his spirit guide looks like a gray. Very strange.
Yeah. But I think like Bob said, that shows like Skinwalker Ranch, they've been slowly drip feeding us information, and it's what we do with that information that makes the difference. And I think, I don't know how much quicker they are. Oops. Oh, bear with me. I don't know how much quicker they can drip feed us that information in time. If the Armada thing is true, they've literally got days to get us prepared. That's not enough time. They haven't got enough time.
All the important people have bunkers, so maybe it is.
Well, yeah. I'll go and build mine now. I'll have it ready by tomorrow evening.
Right? Under the back house.
I'll get me shovel out quick. But I know it's we've been saying constantly that they are drip feeding the information to us. But I still think they have been coming here for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
I think they've been coming here since before we were here. So the way I see it is we're sort of a blot on their paper as such, They've
That's
been
kind of how I feel about it too. I mean, do you pay attention to the pigeons when you're on the road? Do you notice the bugs on the side of the road? Did you see a deer? Do you really think much of it when you pass it?
Well, to be honest, I do, because I think if you're going to run out in the road in front of my car, you're going to get squashed.
Right. I mean, other than that, are you thinking about breaking bread with that being, or worrying about its financial struggles, or giving
pull over on the side of the road, go, are your savings okay? Have you got a good investment future? I've been more worried about its welfare, but in the sense that it could walk into the road
Right.
rather than has it got a family and does it go home for dinner or does it stay where it is and have tea and then go home later on to his wife and get roasted for staying out? But yeah, if you know, when you said about pigeons, I thought you were going to talk about the pigeons that are just floating still in midair. And everybody's starting to take video footage of it going, oh, look, that pigeon's not moving.
Well, I did cover that in an earlier episode, and I have some videos from actually the Marine Corps. China is using pigeon drones. It's known they stay elevated for about a half an hour to an hour. They know about them. They've been using them for years.
Yeah. I mean, this one was more, it was about the fact that these pigeons were just hovering in midair. And then there was a video, when was it? Yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It went viral. And it was this plane carrying a banner. And the plane wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't moving. And unfortunately, I'm sort of like, no, it doesn't quite work that way. The plane would be moving had the headwind not been so strong. The banner behind it is pulling the plane back. So with the headwind, that plane is actually, it looks like it's only doing 5 miles per hour, but it's not. It's actually doing more than that because of the wind speed. And everybody was going, oh my God, it's not moving. It's got to be a glitch in the matrix. But no, it's physics. But the second you mention that it's physics, you mention headwinds and the banner dragging him back, and headwinds and drag counteract each other. So it looks like the plane isn't moving, but it actually is because of the headwind. They don't like it.
Right. It's just an effect.
And and it's the same with a pigeon or a seagull. If a bird is caught in a decent headwind, it doesn't need to move its wings. It just needs to angle its wings in a certain position. So it doesn't need to use its wings. It just holds the wings out and the air current goes underneath it and it's there.
Not necessarily everything, Joe. Sorry, Wayne. This what we're looking for is the things that can't be explained. Because that's when you start crossing into the paranormal and the extraterrestrial, is when we take all the science and math and we're like, all right, we don't have an answer.
Yeah. But the thing is when people try to put flying aircraft aren't actually going anywhere and try and put it into the paranormal. And that's when we have to go, look, that plane would be moving forwards had it not been for a headwind and drag. So you can't put it into the paranormal because it's nothing unusual. It can be explained.
We've had bullshitters since the beginning, though. I mean, even look at people who've made, mummies and their own giants, and it's just a bunch of dead animals crafted together, and you're like, oh. Okay, yeah, you're a scientist, I guess. Sure. I mean, we've had famous Hodag here in Wisconsin as an example.
Yeah, we had we got a series of museums up and down the country called Ripley's Believe It or Not.
We have them here too,
and we had the Philippine Mermaid or the Philippine Merman or something. And it's I can't
go into a fish. Right, it's like a baboon on a fish.
Yeah, and you're just like, seriously, And I think it's again because obviously when Ripley's Believe It or Not first started out, we didn't have things such as technology, but what that was entertainment value. People were able. It was a curiosity thing, wasn't it? People going.
It was the freak show, the era of the freak shows. It was like bread and.
Yeah, the bearded lady.
I mean, that was even still a thing in the fairs here in the 90s.
Yeah,
it wasn't like people, but we had like giant animals.
But the thing was, back in them days, that sold tickets. People were quite prepared to pay their money to go in and see this curiosa stuff. And the thing is even though we know a lot of it is all rubbish, we still
We
pay
buy it.
to go in.
We eat it up. It's the same like the clicks on TikTok and YouTube.
Yep. Only with TikTok and YouTube, you don't have to pay to buy into it. Whereas with Ripley's, believe it or not, you've got to pay to get in. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you can't. I mean, we know obviously with technology, the likes of the Chinese and various people have been using things like drones and stuff like that. And if you look back to the 90s, we had drones then, but they were massive things. They were massive things. And
I believe, if I'm correct, the Air Force was already using like big remote control planes and stuff in like the 50s.
Yeah, but we are the first main real usage of drones on a big scale wasn't until the late 80s, early 90s. But the range wasn't all that great on them. So for any military to be using the drone, they had to be within a set distance of where it wanted to fly the drone. So it would have meant that the team behind the operation would have had to have a good communication link with that drone, which meant they had to be nearby. But now, because of the satellite technology that we're using and the general technology we're using, you can sit in your living room and can control a drone over North Africa quite easily. So it reduces the use of men. You can launch that drone from anywhere in the world and control it from anywhere in the world because the technology is that good now. But we've had it since the 90s, but they've had to be closer to where the target was going to, where the drone was going to be used.
I'll just say this. It's never been as terrifying as it is today with the drones. Just watching the videos, whatever side you believe in, with Ukraine and Russia, it's terrifying. I mean, they're using anti-tank rounds. They're using white phosphorus,
which is supposed to be banned. That's supposed to be illegal to use that. So I don't know why the Russians are using phosphorus, to be honest.
It's not the Russians using it.
Oh, well, the Ukrainians are playing them at their own game. Because that's where a lot of the munitions came from, wasn't it? Was the ammunition dumps that they raided. And they're just using it back. You can have your ammunition back. I'll just whisk it in on this drone. But, I mean, I've seen the videos as well. And to think, I mean, obviously, the first time I saw of drones being used on a commercial scale was with the likes of Amazon, Deliveroo. People like that were sending deliveries via these automated wagons and things like that. And then the odd drone dropping a Subway sandwich off at somebody's house. And you think, is this what we're going to be pushing things towards, where we're not going to leave our own homes anymore? We're going to have drones and these automatic buggies delivering stuff to us. And the only way I could describe it, I likened the situation to the animated film WALL-E.
Here's another thing with the little robot. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The fact that we destroyed the planet and we'd gone off into space, and when I saw the people, I thought to myself, do you know what? That's the way we're heading. We're becoming so dependent on technology that we're walking away from the important things that life has. And we're going to end up being these sort of large, overweight people on these hoverboards, not going to do any physical exercise apart from lifting our hands up to our mouths to eat. And it's going to get to that stage. if we're not careful, because we're relying so much on technology. We see it on a day-to-day basis. You go to a place like McDonald's. McDonald's over here employ younger staff because they're cheaper to employ.
Same here, younger and older.
But when a till breaks down, all hell breaks loose. They don't know how to use a calculator, even though they've got them on their mobile phones, which they seem to be stuck to every spare minute of the day. They don't know how to use that calculator. And I'm like, if you're working in a McDonald's, you have to use a till. But no, because all you do is put in one Big Mac, one fries, one Coke, and it tells you how much, it tells you how much it's going to cost. And then you just put in, oh, they've given me $10. Right, okay, press the $10 mark, press the button, and then it tells you how much change you got to give. So the only real task they've got is just counting the change out, and they struggle with that. So when that till breaks down, all hell breaks loose, and they're all like, "Oh, what's going on? Can't handle it." And she just said, "Yeah, how know what he's talking about?"
Right? I get so mad when it comes to McDonald's like that. And I was like, you know what? Back in my day when I worked here, I had to do all that in my head, and I had to do it during bar close. You know, ever work in a restaurant during bar close?
When I first used a till, you literally had to put in the number, what it was. You know, like I worked in a video shop. It was my first ever job. Was working in a video shop, a bit like Blockbusters, and you had to put in the higher price. So it'd be say like £1.50 for the night's hire of a video or film. And I'm thinking, right, okay, they're going to give me £5, so I know full well I've got to give them £3.50 change. You know, it's automatic. But nowadays they can't do that. And if anything goes wrong with the till, all hell breaks loose. We've had a McDonald's close here in Colchester. We had a McDonald's close because the tills went down and nobody knew what to do.
Taco Bell here is completely changing the AI, so you will not speak to the workers at all or even see them.
The good thing is I don't like Taco Bell, so I can't stand Taco Bell.
You know the rest of them are going to start doing it too because it's less employees, and you don't have to hire drive-through, you don't have to train them, you don't have to pay them,
To be honest, I don't think it's going to get to a stage, like I said, where we rely on technology that much now that it makes you wonder where it's going to go if we're relying on these, like you say, with Taco Bell going completely AI. You're not going to see the staff. So who's going to make the food? I've seen a pizza machine in France that has made a pizza for you. And you just go up to the screen, you press the buttons on the screen, what you want pizza-wise. So you could be, say, a deep pan, medium-sized pizza with, I don't know, Hawaiian, so ham and pineapple, and extra cheese. And you just put it on there, and 20 minutes later, it pops out the bottom. You know, and you haven't had to do anything for it. And you're like, so is there somebody in there rolling out the dough and all that stuff and putting it in an oven and then popping it out? That poor sod's been stuck in there all day. When's the shift change? I'm going to give him a tip. You know, but it's not. It's all automated. And it shouldn't be. Okay.
But I mean,
Facebook viewers. Sorry, mate. I had to take care of a lack of intelligence on an individual. I'm back though. Who said that?
What was that? We had a hater.
I don't know. It just says, sorry, mates, I had to take care of a lack of intelligence in an individual. I'm back, though.
Who said that, I wonder. I didn't even know we had moderators. Thank you, moderator.
I don't know. I don't know what it's about. Good. Some of those guys just hate life. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, Irene, I've seen videos of the vending machines in Japan, and you can get just about anything from a vending machine. I'm like, I do actually enjoy watching those sort of videos where people go up to the vending machines and they go, "Oh, this costs so many yen. We'll see what these are." And it, you just think, "Wow, that's pretty cool." I don't know who that is. I can't see who that is.
Look at telephones. They're getting rid of the red box. Cell phones have taken over. Red box is completely gone here. I thought they're completely kaput.
Oh, it's Catherine. That's all right. But it's weird. Yeah, exactly. Turn off the electricity and the world would stop. That is so spot on. It would, because we're so dependent on technology. You get it on our local buses now. They want you to pay by card or by your mobile phones. So
Yeah,
you'll
there's a
get
lot of places, restaurants doing that shit around here too
yeah.
now that they're don't accept cash, which
We've
is
had
illegal last time I checked, but
yeah. I mean, they're trying to pass it now so that if a shop doesn't want to take cash, they've got every right not to. And I'm like, but cash is legal tender regardless. It's we have the same issue over here between English banknotes and Scottish banknotes. It's still pound sterling, and you
what if
can
a
go.
group comes? I
Sorry.
was gonna say, what if a group comes out like in Fight Club, like Project Mayhem, and just starts blowing up servers to cleanse everybody's debt? Like,
That'd be good,
like
wouldn't
there would be no keeping track of like, but you wish you took cash now. Oh,
it?
all that money's gone.
This is the thing. This is the problem. It's okay using AI and using technology because it's using it to its advantage. But the problem is it's not secure enough. Someone will find a way to crack it, and someone will go in there and they could wipe out an entire nation's debt or benefit somebody else's bank account by £3 billion. There are ways of doing it. You've just got to know how to. You can quite easily. I mean, look at that guy that hacked into the Pentagon's or the FBI's
Maybe that's
database.
what we need. Maybe that's what we need is somebody just to completely wipe out all the debt on the board and just start
Yeah,
over.
exactly. Yeah, a big reset. That's all it takes. And someone at some point will know how to do it and will do it, whether it's on purpose or by mistake. It will happen. And when it does happen, all hell will break loose because nobody will know what to do if it happens. Like I say, you rely on technology too much. And when it goes tits up, all hell breaks loose. Nobody knows what to do. Get to a stage where no one will know how to turn on a torch when the lights go out.
Teach your children.
Yeah, it is. That is basically all it is. We rely too much on technology. When technology goes, bang, you're going to have a problem. So, in you have these issues out there, like I said, with England and Scottish banknotes. I could go to Scotland with all my English pound notes and go into a shop and spend them. But when you come back down here with a Scottish banknote, try to spend them in the shops, and you find that a lot of people will go, "We're not taking that." They've got to because it's legal tender. It's just that it's not an English banknote; it's a Scottish one. But by law, they have to take it. And I think is it Kalani Ghost Hunter? He's an American paranormal investigator, and he comes over to the UK. And he did a TikTok video the other day saying he couldn't understand why they wouldn't accept his Scottish £20 note in England. And you're like, okay, they're supposed to accept it. It's legal tender. But you get a lot of people will fight you over it. They say, no, you ain't spending it here. you take it to a bank and change it over, they'll do it pretty quick because it's still pound sterling. And it's still
Makes
legal
sense.
tender. But it's like a lot of things. You can get these like collector's coins. I think you do have collector's quarters and dollars over there, don't you?
Yeah.
Where they mint so many 100,000 or a million of a certain type of coin.
There used
And yeah,
to be a channel in the 90s where there was like all sorts of crazy ass coins. They had like Star
yeah,
Wars ones.
yeah,
Like a whole
we get them.
shopping network dedicated to it.
Yeah, we get them over here with £2 coins and 50 pence pieces. And at one point, we did have it with 10p's as well. The 10 pence piece, they brought out an alphabet collection. And I think it's worth about £130 if you've got all 26 or all that was minted. But we do keep getting the £2 coins and the 50p's. And we've had 2 lots of Star Wars 50 pence pieces come out. Which I've got the full sets for, but they did like the Olympics, 2012 Olympics, 50p's came out, and they're highly collectible, and yet they're only coins, they're only 50 pence pieces. When they come out, they're only worth 50p. But there is one that was done in 2009, Kew Gardens. It's worth £150, but it's only a 50 pence piece. So all these people that have had this coin in their hands never realised that 15 years down the line, that coin was going to be worth so much more than what it was worth in their hand. And they let it go. So only place where US dollar is used here is only in the Navy, not Marine bases. Yeah, it's pretty much the same with United States Air Force bases here in the UK. They used to have a Milton Hall Air Show every summer, and you could either spend US dollars or pounds. So when you went up to a barbecue stand, they would have the prices in English and US dollars. So you could decide what to do. And I can remember one year we came home. We came home from Florida one year, and I think it was about a week later we went to the Milton Hall Air Show, and we used what was left of our US dollars getting burgers at the air show rather than taking them to a shop and exchanging them. So that's quite funny. But I've just noticed how an hour has gone by so quick.
Yep, it did.
I can't remember how long we're supposed to go on to. No, we were supposed to be an hour and a half.
Going on at the
I don't know. I can't remember. Island in the British Indian. Right, okay. I don't know what is happening at Diego.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, yes, that's a joint base for the UK and US militaries. Well, that's not very nice, is it? It's an island in the British Indian Ocean Territory, a disputed overseas territory of the United Kingdom, also claimed by Mauritius since 1970s when its inhabitants were expelled. The island has been used as a joint base of the UK and US militaries. Oh. That's a secretive UK-US island. Maybe we should talk about that next week.
Maybe.
Apparently,
that
it's
Armada shows up.
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, it's a secretive UK and US island.
Uh-oh. Islands are secret in my country. You know what they're doing on them.
Yes. Yeah. I think we've got until 11 p.m.
10 minutes.
Yeah, we've got another 10 minutes, and then we had a twister.
Who's that?
Facebook user said we had a twister. Is that
That was
Joe?
Joe. Yeah.
Oh, yes, Joe. Yeah, we actually, mile for mile, the UK gets more tornadoes and water spouts than America does. The only problem is the American ones tend to be a hell of a lot nastier. Ours are just minuscule, minute, piddly little things that don't really do much damage, whereas the American ones are really
Yeah,
nasty
okay.
and, yeah, not a nice thing. So, but we technically get more per year than America does, but ours are just a fart in a jar, basically. Nothing worth worrying about. We don't worry about. Well, I don't worry about tornadoes here. We had we had one in here in Colchester. When was it? Oh, just before the weekend. I think it was about 4 days ago. We had a twister in Colchester form, and everybody was taking pictures of it and posting it on the local community forum. We got a twister. We got a twister. I'm like, seriously?
Wow.
We don't worry about twisters.
Yeah, they're devastating here. Like whole forests disappear, towns.
Yeah,
It's pretty crazy.
your weather conditions for twisters are so much worse than ours, and that's why your twisters are that much bigger. Whereas ours, the temperature changes so quick, but as quick as they've come down, the quicker they go again. Whereas yours tend to stick around for ages. Oh. No, I certainly don't. I certainly don't envy you, Irene.
Yeah.
I say I've been through an earthquake. I've been through been in the aftershocks. The main earthquake was in Albania, and I was in a bar in Corfu, and we had an aftershock, and everybody started screaming and running out in the street, and I stayed at the bar carrying on drinking simply because there was just a slight wobble like that of the bottles on the shelf. And the barman told me off and said, "Why aren't you outside with everybody else?" I said, "Look, when things start falling off the shelf, that will be when I run. While they're just gently swaying like that on the shelf, there's no need to worry. I'm not going to panic about just a gentle wobble. When they fall off the shelf, that's when I'll walk outside." But the problem is, it's not going to make much of a difference because where that was situated, you would have had to have walked for about 200 meters before you got to somewhere where you wouldn't get hit by falling debris. Because right outside the bar, there was a network of electricity and telephone cables right across the road in front of you. So you think, oh, well, I'll get out the bar so I don't get squashed by the roof falling in or anything like that, only to get electrocuted by the power cables.
Right.
Can't go the other way.
I was just going to say, you're cold. Everybody's running out, and you're all like, sit your ass down and pour my shot. I came here to drink, not run.
I was sitting there with a pint of beer, and I'm like, what is everybody running outside for? And you could see that the bottle's doing this. And he was like, what are you doing? You should be out there with everybody else. He's standing in the doorway. He's panicking. He's standing in the doorway thinking he's going to be safe. And I'm like, what's your problem? And he's like, there's an earthquake. It's an earthquake. I said, no, what's the point? Nothing's falling off the shelf. When things fall out the shelf, I'll go outside. Then I'll worry. No, you can't go the other way out onto the beach because otherwise you get the typical sand liquefaction. You end up standing in quicksand. You were gone that way. So just like World of War when the bombs were dropping. Joe, you're talking like you were there. No, Joe, you're not that old. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Joe. At the end of the day, if it's your time, it's your time. If a bomb drops on you, you're not exactly going to dust yourself off and go, oh, right, who's up for a cup of tea then? A typical British attitude, that probably would be, actually. It'd be a dud bomb. And we'd get up and go, right, cup of tea. Yeah. But that's what you do. You'd be like, oh yeah, well, that bomb's not that far away. That bomb's so many miles away. You could tell by the sound how far away it was. And when it gets too close, you think, yeah, that's getting a bit too close for comfort now, so I think I better move. And you
Your
do.
body and settlement will let you know when it's time to go.
You wouldn't have actually had someone in the cockpit give you a ring first to say, I'm going to drop a bomb on your head. You might want to get in the shelter now, or I'm going to drop them. Doesn't work that way. But yeah. Oh, God. People buy toilet paper and rice, so they're nuts. Yeah, that is. I mean, I will admit it is panic buying. It's like when we had first lots of lockdown and everything else. Everybody was going, "Oh, I better go and stock up," and they were buying shed loads of toilet roll, and they ended up buying so much toilet roll that the shelves were out of stock. The
Same here.
supermarkets
We
couldn't
have
get the resupplies in, and then when people were like, "Oh, so what am I going to do with 200 dog rolls? I've got 200 toilet rolls. What do I do with them?" But that craze has carried on. You go on to TikTok shop, and there are 120 toilet rolls for £20, and you're like, "Yeah, great." So you go and buy them because you think 20 quid for all these toilet rolls. That's a good deal.
in the Tornado Alley over
And then
here, Irene.
you spend 4 days trying to figure out where to put them. Yeah.
Yeah, same over here too. I don't understand that because we have like 6 major toilet paper factories like within stone's throwing distance. And I was like, if all the shit to be buying, people, why are you buying this?
Exactly. I mean, toilet roll's not what you would class as a necessity, is it? If you're still able to get water, you just wash your backside. You don't need to use the toilet paper. But what did we do in nature before we started building houses? We used leaves, or we bathed in a stream or something. We found alternative ways of cleaning ourselves. And now it just becomes too much. We depend on these things
Well,
that
it's
make our
become a
lives
market.
easier.
It's become a monopoly, is what it is. I mean,
Yeah. No, my luck, Joe, it'd be a stinging nettle. Certainly, go to use the dock leaf to wipe your backside with and end up picking up a stinging nettle.
you were talking about it. It helps. Maybe got something there. You can use any fly after that.
Dude, you wouldn't be able to sit down for a week, but be like, yeah, I still can't sit down. My backside's still a bit raw. Yeah, definitely don't use a stinging nettle. Wrong end. That's all right. Stinging nettle soup, or a stinging nettle tea, or maybe a sort of herbal remedy for a cut or a graze or something. But certainly do not wipe your backside with it. That's my tip for the week. Don't wipe your backside with a stinging nettle. But yeah. Anyway, it's almost that time.
Right?
So, have you got a show planned for this week, Josh?
I do. I have to actually ask them. So my last week's show canceled on me at the last moment. I'll go through that. Um, yeah, should be having an experiencer on. I believe it's either Thursday or Friday. I'll have to double check. And she is married to, I think they're married to a member of MUFON. I've had him on before. His name is Preston Dennett. He's an author like yourself, but he pretty much covers Bigfoot and mainly extraterrestrial experiences with being a MUFON member.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Dolly, his girlfriend or wife, I'm not sure if they're married or not. I have to check into that. is an experiencer who's actually flown UFOs. So that'll be an interesting episode.
Yeah, it sounds it. Cool. And I think I'm on Simply Spooky tomorrow night, I think. I'm not sure what the subject is, but I guess I'll find out when we go live tomorrow night. Other than that, I think I've got the Mystical Carousel show on Thursday night and Fools and Ghouls on Friday night. So if you're about, try and drop in tomorrow night, Thursday night, Friday night on Simply Spooky and the various streaming platforms, Things Network and everything else. So it was good to see you all. And hopefully, I don't know how we're going to stop the live stream, but we didn't think of this one. We got Mark to start it. We need Mark to finish it.
We're going to amp up the numbers, or we're just going to keep going.
I don't know, because I think there's someone coming in after us. So we need to come off.
Nah.
Mark!
This is now the Dark Mirror Radio channel.
Yes, the Dark Mirror Radio Show. And if anybody comes up with any videos or anything of interest that sort of might be worthy of us talking about, send it to myself, Josh, or Mark. We're quite happy to look into it, review it, and maybe it will appear on one of the shows and we'll give you a mention. So, send them over to us and see what there is. So
my wife just dived in. She's got control, so we can cut it whenever you want.
Ah, cool. Well, in that case, it is time to say goodbye to you all, folks. It's been a good one tonight, so I'm glad you all joined in and all had fun. So I will bid you a farewell and over to Josh.
Bye, everybody.
Toodles.